This familiar scene is repeated every day in cities, towns and villages throughout the world as children look to improve their lives through education.
Ano-ano ang napansin nila sa tahanan?
In many of the less developed countries, this hunger for education puts extreme pressure on the supply of teachers and facilities. Classes such as these in the Philippines and Indonesia are often crowded, and even the best teachers find little or no time to offer students individual assistance. For those pupils who are lucky enough to find a place in the classroom, family responsibilities often make attendance irregular. They have to help in the fields at harvest time, or to care for animals that play such a key role in the family's economy. They must assist in the family business, or care for younger brothers and sisters. These absences put them well behind the rest of the class. This contributes to a large number of failures and dropouts from the school system. Some children never get a chance to attend school. Education policymakers are faced then with the problems of increasing demands, increasing costs, and increasing dropouts. Researchers in the Philippines and Indonesia have found a starting point in solving these educational problems. Their work was commissioned by CMEO, the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization. CMEO is composed of 6 regional centers, which are concerned with accelerating the development of education in Southeast Asia. The Center for Educational Innovation and Technology, called Innotech, is presently located in Manila, in the Philippines. One of Innotech's original projects was to develop an efficient and effective delivery system for mass primary education.
Right, Joe, will you please give us a brief progress report of...
After much discussion with key educators from the region, Innotech developed Project Impact, which stands for Instructional Management by Parents, Community, and Teachers. Initially, 2 research sites were established, one on Cebu Island in the Philippines, and one near Solo in Indonesia. Here, the impact system is known as Project Pamong. It operates in cooperation with the Research Division of the Indonesian Ministry of Education. Project Pamong functions in 4 schools, which have an enrollment of 800, and covers all primary grades from 1 to 6. In the Philippines, the Naga Valley, 40 kilometers from Cebu City, was chosen for the project site. Here, as in Indonesia, the setting is rural. There are 5 schools in villages spread out along the valley.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1.
The total number of students involved is over 1,000.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bata man gyud na sila, no? Pero usahay.
The key link between the research team, the schools, and the communities is the field coordinator. Initially, in both countries, meetings were held with the parents to explain the plan and to seek their approval. What are the various elements which make up Project Impact and Project Pamong? Peer group learning, small groups learning by themselves.
Is it correct? Yes, it is.
Program teaching, older children teaching the young.
Very good, everybody. DRBC.
A new role for the teacher. The concept of the school as a community learning center,
Study
the
very
involvement of the
carefully
family
every lesson.
and the community at large. The two projects were evolved to suit the local environment, and thus there are some differences. But most of these elements are common to both.
Hello.
Certainly the key element in both countries is the series of booklets called modules. They are written in a way which allows people to teach themselves. These modules contain material which is structured in small steps and accompanied by illustrations. They are geared to specific learning objectives, but are not a new curriculum.
Let's examine our tentative objectives now and then find out if these are consistent with those suggested by the Department of Education and Culture for elementary education in our country. So please just go through your copies.
The course
of
syllabus is divided into
continuum,
different
and then
sections
we
for
shall
each
read
module.
each objective.
The writers sign up to write the modules of their choice. Who are these module writers? In the Philippines, the writers are all former classroom teachers, most of whom came directly from the classroom to work full-time on the research team. The Indonesian team was recruited somewhat differently, with all module writers coming from the Faculty of Education and working on a part-time basis. The
We have
modules are
feedback
taken
from
to the instructional
one of the
methods
ISs
expert,
there,
who
one of the
corrects
instructional
errors and
supervisors,
suggests
that
revisions.
The children seem to have difficulty in the way we have presented the procedure, the steps.
Pictures and diagrams for the modules are provided by the team's staff of illustrators, and the completed module is sent to the duplicating section for reproduction using inexpensive methods. The modules are delivered to the schools by the field coordinator, sometimes accompanied by the project director, Dr. Rosetta Mante. What structural changes were necessary in the schools before the project could operate? The requirements call for a storage area for modules and a large open space for testing and small group activities. The interior walls of this school were torn down to provide one large room. Parents provided the labor and materials to build a number of small learning shelters or kiosks, which have proven useful in all but the very worst weather. Where not enough kiosks have been built, children can work in a shady spot around the school. No longer are there any crowded classrooms. Instead, the pupils are dispersed throughout the school building and grounds. Compared to a traditional school, the impact school looks chaotic to the visitor.
Oh, yan, human na to inyong module atong unang semana. Pila ka book module inyong nahuman atong unang semana? 5. Ubay-ubay niya, nakapasar.
The modules are aimed at the older children, for an ability to read is necessary before they can be used. The day begins with the pupils signing a contract with the teacher to work on a number of modules in different subjects. These modules are then obtained from the aide, in this case a recent graduate of the school, whose role is to assist the teacher by keeping all records.
Find the missing atom. Number 1, Siberia.
Thus the pupils work on their modules at their own pace, in small groups called peer groups.
Correct? Yes, it is. Number 2.
In the Philippines, the peer group is usually 4 people. and each one takes turns serving as group leader.
Plus 60 equals 125. Is that correct? Yes, it is.
No longer do the teachers spend their time teaching lessons to a large group of pupils. In this arrangement, they move from group to group to see where help is needed, dealing with close to 100 children across different grade levels. They also have considerable time to give individual attention whenever pupils require it.
600 minus
They are free from the traditional classroom teaching, but this freedom makes their job more difficult.
plus 2 minus 1.
Not all teachers can handle these new responsibilities easily.
600 minus 200.
At the end of each module, the students write a test on the separate sheet which comes with the module. These tests are marked by the pupils. Cheating on these modular tests will quickly catch up with the pupils, for after every 5 modules, a block test is administered by the aide in the testing area. In the Philippines, the younger children begin their day listening to a radio lesson which has been prepared by the research team and is broadcast over the local radio station. As the children learn to read, the programs may be linked to simple modules which are used to make the transition from the lower classes to the individualized self-learning which begins towards the end of grade 3.
Nakaupo tayo. Humana ang atong leksyon. Ihatag ko na kamo sa program teacher aron makabadayon kamo sa inyong leksyon. Paalam na mga bata.
The radio lessons are supervised by students from grades 4, 5, and 6, who then follow up the broadcast with programmed teaching lessons which have been prepared for them by the research team.
Where's your name card?
There are other forms of programmed teaching.
Basaha ang tudling Erenia. Everyone is busy. Very good, everybody. Everyone is busy. Very good. Basaha ang tudling Rulan. The nurse and the dentist are in the clinic. Very good, everybody. The nurse and the dentist are in the clinic. Very good. Basaha ang tudling Rico. They are busy. Very good, everybody. They are busy. Makan. Makan. Ke sekolah. Ke sekolah. Ayam jantan. Ayam jantan. Pinjor rumah.
Ya, kamu kalau akan menerangkan godong-godong ono angin kena apa? Godong-godong.
From time to time, the teacher helps the programmed teacher deal with problems or suggests new techniques.
Alat peraga. Coba. Terus lagi. Si Daud kena godong-godong.
Godong-godong podo obah amarga kena apa kamu?
Betul. Nah, saiki coba dicekel. Iki, dicekel. Nah, diobah-obahke. Nah, iki sijine nyekel iki. Dikebuti. Nah, iki menang siji menang, iki ngebuti. Lah angin kuwi padha kuwi, nggih. Ngerti sing dikarepe angin. Coba ganti iki. Bener.
After some major difficulties were overcome, programmed teaching became a strong part of the system.
Godong-godong podo obah kena apa kamu?
The development and ongoing success of the project requires the full support of the parents. It was difficult to convince some of them that this new approach to teaching and learning would not harm their children's chances of passing. In gatherings such as these, the village headman and the district administrator have the opportunity to express their support for the project and to answer questions. The teachers require the backup support of leaders in local government, and fortunately have been receiving it.
Apa kira-kira nek wis proyek rampung terus awake dhewe wis meneng? Lah ora to, Wi?
It is essential that teachers see themselves as members of the research team, and important members at that. Early in the project, the teachers were brought into the research centers to meet with the module writers. For similar reasons, the module writers visited the schools to see how their material was being used and to seek advice from the teachers regarding modifications. Transportation difficulties and time pressure placed limitations on the number of these exchanges, but their importance should not be ignored in any future developments.
Why is this module so important?
The extent of home assistance given to the children is encouraging. Although not all children have literate family members who are in a position to help, the form of the modules appears to offer a structure which maximizes this support.
Therefore, finding the least common multiple and least common denominator is important in the study of fractions.
Project Pamong in Indonesia has laid special emphasis on out-of-school youth. Here, instructors visit with young people who gather at learning centers established in homes. The project is attempting to increase the connection between school and community. Another goal of the project was to be flexible enough to deal with children who have to leave the school for a while because of illness or family responsibility. Some way had to be found to allow these students to re-enter the school at any time and not be hopelessly lost because of their absence. With this younger child, who has been absent for 3 weeks, the teacher spends time at a chart, reviewing work to see what she remembers. This will determine the level of work which she will then be offered.
Bu, di pakitaan ni. Bu, buti, basahan, usga.
Older pupils who have missed school are given a series of modular tests to find the module number in each subject with which they should recommence their work. In the impact system, use is also made of community people as teachers. Regular arrangements are made by the school for the pupils to visit the home or shop of a local person to work on a project from their modules. Local craftsmen are scheduled to come with their tools and teach a class on the school grounds. The children appear to enjoy the break from academic pursuits. No school program is complete without physical and cultural activities. These activities may occur in a spontaneous manner among the students, or may be organized by an itinerant teacher who moves from school to school. What does all this cost? No large expenditures are needed for new facilities. The new learning materials can be produced locally and inexpensively, although the rising cost of paper does bear watching. Concern has been expressed as to how many times the modules can be reused, or how many of them will be lost or ruined. To date, this does not appear to be a major problem, but it requires monitoring over a longer period. The experiment was aimed at reducing those costs which eat up over 80% of most education budgets. That is, the cost of teacher salaries. Although the different sites did not handle the reduction of teachers in the same manner, the project has shown that the ratio of pupils to teachers can be increased to up to 100 to 1 without crowded classrooms or chaotic confusion. No teachers have lost their jobs as a result of these changes, although transfers had to be made to other areas to teach children who might not otherwise receive an education. The understandable fear some teachers felt about losing their job because of the project is an issue which had to be faced openly. Various cost comparisons have been made between this project and traditional schools. All of these studies show impact in a favorable light. More examination of all the cost factors needs to be made, but the latest study concludes that when the system is fully underway, educational costs per student can be reduced by 30 to 50%. But how well are the impact students doing? Tests prepared and administered by educators who have had no involvement in the project indicate that the students are doing as well or better than comparable groups in all subject areas. By utilizing the self-paced learning of the impact system, students may finish a 6-year primary course in any time from 5 to 7 years, depending on their ability, motivation, and attendance. This flexibility, desirable as it may seem, disturbs some parents who find it difficult to accept that their child might take longer than 6 years to complete primary school. The impact school does not lose the many positive aspects of the traditional school. It teaches leadership, individual responsibility, and how to get along with others. Impact students do a great deal of reading. Ready access to a large volume of modules allows them to progress at their own pace. In the early stages of the project, the system incorporated too much rote learning. This led to changes. Today, rote learning is built into the first years of the impact system for better reading and number skills. As the students progress, much more attention is paid to concept learning and problem solving. The arguments in support of impact should not be tied solely to economy. The emphasis on learning how to learn may turn out to be one of the biggest assets of the project, and suggests that the impact approach could be of great benefit in school systems where there is no desire to change the student-to-teacher ratio. Within both the Philippines and Indonesia, the impact approach is now being introduced gradually in different parts of the two countries. It is easy for impact schools to adapt the materials and borrow from the experience of the original research sites. This is because the impact system follows the basic objectives of each country's national curriculum for primary education. Other countries, such as Malaysia, Jamaica, Liberia, and Bangladesh, have directly borrowed from this experience in the delivery of mass primary education. In each country, The researchers are modifying the system to try to solve their own problems, their overcrowded classrooms, high repetition and dropout rates, and poor quality learning. Project impact should not be compared to some ideal taken from a textbook. It should be compared to what is actually happening in many primary schools throughout the world today.
Yen tangan sing madhep ngidul, krasa adem angin sangka. Seblak bareng ora pelakon sik.